Hey friends, welcome back into this new video with OSP. In this video today, I'm going to be moving with you together on how we can do something called bugs. We're going to learn today something called variables in programming, and we are going to break the things down together and see way forward. So underneath the variables, we have different things to understand. One, what are variables? Variables refers to an element holding a place value of another element. You get? So we are going to be breaking down something called variables and data types, because these two things move together. So we are going to break them down and we really find a way of using them. Variables, like I've said to you, refers to an element holding a place value of another element. Then a data type refers to the format in which an element is stored in a given programming language. So don't confuse the two. A variable refers to just an element holding a place value of another element, but data types refers to the format in which how that element is stored in a given other programming language. So we look onto the storage on how it is stored. Then a variable refers to that kind of, it looks to be that element that holds a place value of another element. For instance, if you say x equals to 8, this is what we have here. If x equals to 8, this is what the program thinks. It knows that each time you call for x, it knows that x is going to be equal to 8. Now that's math of secondary, that's a math for high school. But when you go this time around to break this math into a computer language, we need to talk of the format in which how this x equals to 8 is going to be stored in the program. Like now, if I save this and I say maybe print for me that, printf where I say x equals to, x now equals to what? So we expect x to be given as the value. Not so. But if I try to save this, this is a big problem in programming, because the program doesn't know how x is stored. So the text has to understand what's a data type. Like I've said to you, a data type refers to the format in which how an element is stored in a given programming language. So we need to verify and satisfy that. So we have different types of data type. We have int. This one stores counting numbers and the present as just %d. We have float. This one stores numbers with the decimal place values and they're stored as %sf. We have a char. This one stored single characters and they're given as %c. We have a string. In C programming, strings are given as something called a char. Then we specify the storage by using something called maybe something called square brackets, which is going to specify for us the number of letters or strings that program is going to be giving, and it's going to be presented as %s. That's how we write a string in C. So we use something called array, which is in the square brackets, and then we give %s to specify the number of characters that given string is going to contain. Now, if you come back in our program here, if I've given the 8, I can always give the int x equals to 8. It implies in a simple term we're talking about counting numbers. And that implies for a simple term x is going to be stored as %d because a counting number. I've said d is %d is that's counting numbers. %f, those are numbers with decimal place value. We also have something called %. We also have something called float double. And this double is also stored as %f in C programming. They all store as numbers with the decimal place values. The main difference between a double and a float is that a float stores numbers with decimal place value, but their storage is too big. As well as a double, for it mean float, I said the difference between a float and double is that a float stores numbers with decimal place value, but their storage is small. As well as a double stores numbers with decimal place values, but their storage is big. Now that one, look onto the classification whenever we come on into machine programming or computer programming and we go into an advanced programming, we shall discover how to utilize this float and double very well. To illustrate this for you, I'll put %d there because I'm going to be satisfying that, and I need to give the value corresponding to that. Whereby this one can be anything. I can even simply say value for x equals to %d. If I come and compile this program and try to run it, we should get 8. I think you can see that. Implies in simple time, if I just change this value to something like that, that's what the program is going to see. So far, I've just shown you how to use one known as a float, I mean a double int, and data types. So this is complete introduction to between variables and data types. Like I've said to you as I'm completing this video, variables refers to an element holding a place value of another element, whereas data types refers to the format in which how that element is stored in a given programming language. The format, is it going to be a double? Is it going to be an int? Is it going to be a float? Is it going to be a string? Is it going to be a char? Is it going to be a boolean? So it's due to specify that given kind of character. Otherwise, wait for the next video where we are going to utilize variables on the details on depth and the data types on depth. Otherwise, have a blessed evening and blessed day. Thank you very much for watching, and please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and joining our courses. Thank you very much, guys.